Ladies and gents, welcome to Next Level Radio. I am your host, Colby Wortman, and our mission is to tackle the biggest questions in strength and conditioning, business, investing, and everything in between. We bring to you the best people in every sector so that you, the listener, can benefit and learn from the best in the biz. Whether that is S&C or business, you can rest assured you're getting the best knowledge available. Having trained athletes for many, many years, we have tried every treadmill known to man. You name it, we've tried it. With these treadmills, there's always been a disconnect, something missing for our athletic performance, something that just does not correlate to athletic success on the field until we tried our TrueForm runners. TrueForm for over 10 years has been elevating the performance of pro athletes, college athletes, recreational runners, and everyday athletes alike. You can check out TrueForm treadmills at trueformrunner.com, and we thank TrueForm for being an exclusive sponsor of Next Level Radio. All right, it's time we all grow up a little bit. Ditch the pre-workout. It's not 2007 anymore, and it's nothing like Jacked 3D. Ditch the shaker. You're not 4 years old, and you don't need a bottle anymore. And get yourself the best dippable pre-workout on the market. Each pouch is patriotically packed with 300 milligrams of caffeine and vitamins because shaker bottles suck. Send It Sups is the on-the-go solution for athletes, LEOs, firefighters, door kickers, and everybody in between. Head over to senditsups.com to get the best dippable pre-workout on the market, and we thank Send It Sups for being a sponsor of Next Level Radio. Next Level Radio continues to grow because of our listeners and our sponsors. Today we present to you Fat Fish Brewing, the official beer of Next Level Radio. Whether you're looking for a night out with family or smashing the best craft beers in the area, you will find it all at Fat Fish Brewing. Check out Fat Fish on Villard Street in Dickinson, or check them out on their website at fatfishbrewing.com. Life has an amazing way of coming full circle and bringing to you the people that you need in your life at that time. As a young whippersnapper, 4 monsters deep, just excited to tackle the day, I'm headed to my first strength and conditioning conference, and I hear about a company called Team Builder. Multiple coaches with experience with Team Builder and other platforms said the exact same thing. They said that you can get very similar products across different platforms. However, the thing that truly sets aside Team Builder and puts their product above anybody else's is their true and genuine customer service. As a customer for many years, both at the university setting and the private facility, I can tell you, Team Builder's customer service is absolutely second to none. Late night emails, programming issues, emergencies on my end are all resolved very, very quickly. So join the thousands of universities and private facilities that use Team Builder to elevate their businesses by going to teambuilder.com, click Start My Free Trial, and use code NLT at checkout. Our next sponsor, Nutridyne, a medical supplement company aimed at enhancing performance and addressing the underlying issues of disease. You will be hard-pressed to find the quality that you'll find at Nutridyne. Listeners of this podcast get 20% off all supplements. Just go to @coach_Wortman and click the Nutridyne link in our bio. Keep up with us on Instagram @coach_Wortman, on our website, nl-training.com, or keep up with us on the next episode of Next Level Radio. Now sit back, relax, and take in the mind-melting knowledge of this episode. Next Level Radio number 122 coming at you guys, and thank you for coming back every single week, day in and day out, as we try to bring this podcast to life and bring you guys the stuff that you need and want on your journey to being the best version of yourself, whether that's in business, fitness, family, finance, whatever it is. And this is our second podcast of the year 2024. And we've talked about this from the start, from episode 1 into episode 122. The evolution of your thinking, the evolution of your reality, the evolution of your perspective from episode 1 to 122. And you don't realize how crazy it is until it's documented, until you see these things over and over and go back and look like, I can't believe that I thought that, or I can't believe I was in that situation, or I can't believe how small and how minuscule my problems were compared to where we're at now. And for number 122, guys, this is going to be a special one that I think is going to hit home with the things that you need to make your 2024 the best possible. And if you know me personally, if you know me through the podcast, if you know me through anything, we don't sugarcoat anything. And it comes down to a couple things that we will get into. But I want to start this off with saying 2024 could be your year, but it's going to come down to, do you get your shit done? Do you do the shit you know you should be doing? Do you do the shit that you do not want to do? Because it's going to come down to it. You have to do the shit that nobody wants to do to get the shit that nobody else gets. And for me, this is not a shot in the dark. This is not a lucky thing. There's a lot of instances in life where you do get lucky, where something falls into your lap. But the way you get lucky over and over and over again is through preparation, is through getting to the point where you are putting yourself in the best situation possible to get lucky. It is not something that you want to blindly walk into, okay? And so last week we talked about goal setting. This is a yearly podcast with my buddy Gus Kronberg, and it's been something that I have come to cherish every single year. It's something that I look forward to every single year, and it's not because I just want to sit and shoot the shit with Gus, because we get to do that all the time and I love it. It's because it forces me to do something that 90% of the population doesn't do. And that is write your physical goals down. Write them down. Make sure that you can do and have something that you can refer back to, because 2024, we're going to go through some shit. We're going to go through some great times. We're going to go through some bad times. But if you can have something you're grounded into that you can look back on and say, I achieved that, or I failed that, that is going to be very important in this year 2024, as we go through with an election year, as we go through in our economy, as we go through with everything that's going on in the world, both good and bad. You need to have something that you can be grounded to at all times. And so this podcast is going to go over how you can crush your 2024 without the sugar-coated crap, without telling you that you're an all-star and you can do it, and you just have to show up and be lucky and do all these things. This is going to be, how can you crush your 2024 by preparing every single day? And whether that's your physical capability, whether that's your mental capability, whether that's being the best father, the best mother, whether that's doing anything in your life, how can we prepare best for that? Because if we just continue to try to be lucky at all points of our life, you're going to find that life is not going to treat you very well. The people that win are the people that are prepared. And that's what it all boils down to at all times. And so touching on that, guys, we're not going to go over our goals as we did last week. So if you did not hear last week's podcast with Gus Kronberg, I highly recommend you listen to that one first before listening to this one. So hit pause here on this podcast and make sure you go back to that podcast and listen to it. And the reason is we go over the entirety of our goals, both failures and successes for 2023. And there was lots of failures, lots of successes, and a lot of reflection. And our goals for 2024 are not the same, and everything looks different. The perspective that we have, the reality that we live in, and the things that we're trying to achieve look very different. And so I would highly recommend you guys go listen to that one first before we really dive into this one. However, we're going to touch on our 2023 and very briefly go over a couple things. But before we do that, I have to talk about this social experiment that we did on our Instagram. Okay. And this is something that I hope you guys can hold near and dear to your heart and understand the human psychology behind people. And I didn't know I was going to do this social experiment until I really thought about it. And I was like, this would be very, very interesting to see. So just a couple weeks ago, I posted a series of 2 posts on Instagram. This is our little social experiment. And to no fault of anybody's own, this just comes down to how humans work. So I posted a series of 2 things. Number 1, the first post was specifically written out my failures of 2023. Physical failures, being a father, all those failures, every single failure I had written out for the world to see, right? And we posted that about a week ago. And it did really, really well. People enjoyed it. People engaged with it. People commented. People did a lot of things on that post. And it's specifically making myself very vulnerable in all the failures. And this isn't just sugar-coated failures. This is, I worked too much. I didn't spend enough time with my family. I'm worrying about things that I shouldn't worry about. I didn't hit this revenue goal. I hit this revenue goal. These were very, very specific failures that I had all year, and exposed myself and made myself very vulnerable. And that post did very, very well. High engagement, very high engagement. The next day at the same exact time, with the same exact hashtags, with the same exact format, with the same exact everything, I posted about my successes in 2023. And I think you can see where this is going, guys. That post flopped. That post had 0 engagement. That post had minimal likes. That post had not a lot of things going for it. Same format, same hashtag, same caption, same everything, right? And so this social experiment is very telling about the humans that live among us, and ourselves included. People love to see you fail. People love to see you fail and pat you on the back when you fail. They love to see you fail. They love to see you below them. They love to see you not doing well so they can really sit on their ivory tower and pat you on the back and throw you pebbles of bread as you're suffering through your life, right? But people hate to see when you succeed. And when I posted this, here's my successes, these were super specific. These were exactly the things that I was successful for this year. Some of them including purchasing my first multifamily rental property, doing these things that are not for me, they're for my family, to set up my family best, to allow my family to live the best possible life in 10, 20, 30, 70 years from now. And so how the human intuition works is they love to see you fail and they hate to see you succeed. And haters, people that do not like what you do, people that unfollow you, people that do not like anything that you're talking about, doing anything, these are the people that want to pat you on the back when you're failing. And these are the people that will not like, will not engage, will not do anything when you are succeeding. And so it was a very, very interesting little social experiment that I did on a very small scale just with myself. And we did that at the start of 2024 with intention to see exactly where everybody's at and where their mental frame of mind is. And it's very telling. So you can take that for how you take it. Take it and apply it in your life. That everybody wants to pat you on your back when you're not doing well. And everybody wants to shove you in the dirt when you are doing well. So what does that tell you? None of this shit matters. None of it matters. Spend time with your family, find success in what you love, and do what you want to do. Because people love to see you fail and people hate to see you succeed. So why does it matter? Do what you love, spend time with your family, and find passion in this life. Because we're all going to be in the dirt one day, and we can't take anything that we gain with us. We can't take our successes. We can't take our failures. We just go to the grave. And so, that's about how 2024 has really transpired in the last couple of years, or last couple of weeks. And touching on 2023, it was a very, very highly successful year. It was great. Our business partners as a team, we grew exponentially at the gym. have doubled or tripled any year of growth that we've ever had. And that's super, it's super, super cool to see. And but there's a reason behind it, because we were preparing, because we were doing the things that we needed to do. We were getting people results. We're not just this gym that is happy and go lucky. We get people results. People are paying us for a service. We're getting them results. We're not going to just willy-nilly do something just to do something and get money for it. And I think that's a lot of why we did well this year, is we showed the successes that we've had and we showed the failures that we had, and really put us in a human form that allowed people to see us for who we are. And that growth was a direct correlation to that. And 2023, as we talked about, had many successes and many failures, but most of them successes with a bunch of different failures sprinkled in there. And really what made 2023 great was, for me personally, becoming a father. Became a father in late 2022, and it changed my life for the better. It was the hardest year of my life in that instance, but the most gratifying. And I find it funny when parents say, like, having a child is the hardest thing in the world, but it's the most gratifying. And I used to laugh at that and say, then why do you have children? And now I know. Now I know. It's it literally, there's no other better way to put it. It's the hardest thing in the world, but the most gratifying. And that's what made it great for me. That's number one on my list. What made it great? It was becoming a father and watching my wife turn into this beautiful, supportive mother that she is. And what made it bad? What made 2023 bad? Let's look here. 2023 was a year of a lot of crazy instances that led to both successes and failures. And for most people, we look at it, it's the Chinese farmer story. Like, you never know what something's going to bring in your life, right? And this thing that could be this failure and this absolute lowest part of your life could bring you the most fruitful experience that you've ever had. And so I would say, going into 2024 and looking back retroactively in 2023, look at it as the Chinese farmer. You never know what's going to happen with the negative and or positive experiences in your life, and they could bring you more fruitful or much, much worse experiences. We just have to take it with the flow. And one overlying concept that really just kept on pounding me and punching me in the face throughout 2023 is how our current reality, how our current people that are in charge in our world, and how the pharmaceutical industry and how any of our food industry and all these different things can curate a different reality than we see. And I was talking to a client and a friend, a very good friend, about this, and we were talking about how life is just full of these valleys and these mountains and just this ever-changing roller coaster that we go on. And without those, life isn't life. But currently, whether it's the pharmaceutical industry or our doctors or anybody, they tell us that we should not be going through that we should just take this medication so we can be even kill, so that we don't have to feel the terrible emotions that come with bad experiences. And then when we do get on this high, we're always chasing for something more, right? But going on this life of this big, ever-changing roller coaster, we can experience and know how bad the bad is and how good the good is. And we know that when we're at the top of the world, something is coming. Something is coming. And this is a theme that hit me hard for 2024 that we'll get into. But we have to understand that if we do not have these ups and downs, if we do not have these things happen, we're not living the life that we're meant to live. We're not taking the risk. We're not actually living the substance that we've been given in this life. And I feel terrible for people that feel like we just need to ride this even kill roller coaster for the rest of our lives. Because as you'll hear here soon, 2024 has been the worst start I've ever had in my life. In all 30 years of my life, this is the worst start I've ever had. the hardest start, the deepest valley. And without that, I wouldn't know how good it's going to be in the next month, 3 months, 9 months, 12 months. And so I hope that you guys can understand that life sucks sometimes, but life is so great. Life is so great sometimes, okay? And so as we talked about in our last episode, we're not going to go over our goals, but we're going to detail why we do this. And I have a backlog of this little redneck lamination system that I have. You get some packing tape, bang, bada, boom, put it over, and those goal sheets are going to last the rest of your life, right? Thanks to modern plastic. And I have this log from 2017. And we're not going to go specifically into the goals, but we're going to go into the act of actually writing down your goals. And the problems that I was dealing with in 2017 seem so minuscule compared to the problems and the successes and the failures that I'm going through now. But I would have never known that if I didn't have those 2017 goals. And I would have never known what I was going through at that time. Guys, I cannot reiterate enough. You don't have to become a content creator. You don't have to be making a YouTube channel. You do not have to do these things, but document your life. You will look back on the years past, whether you have kids or you don't, and you will be happy that you can see this life, that you can have these memories, that you can do these things. Document this journey that you're going on in this life. It will pay off dividends in the end. And whether that's writing down your goals, as I have this backlog with this packing tape and these nasty looking, dirty, dusty goals that I've had since 2017, or if it's creating videos with your children and having them see that, or creating an email account for them and sending emails once a month, this is what we're going through. This is what was happening in our lives at this time. And give that password to them when they're 18. Whatever it is, guys, but the physical act of documenting your goals has been the one key to any type of success that I've ever had in my life. And it just is sad because we go through this life with monotony, and we go through this life and just ride this same rut. And we wake up one day and we're on our deathbed. And we wake up one day and the kids have moved out of the house. And we wake up one day and we're alone. And you have 0 memories. And you have thousands of regrets. So take the time and document your life. And in this instance, we're talking about our goals. Document your current reality. Document your perspective. Document the struggles you're going through. Document the successes you're going through. Because it's someday you're going to look back and be like, holy shit. The problems that I thought were a mountain ended up to be an anthill. And I think that you will thank me and any other person that's preaching this 1,000 times over. Because on many different spectrums, many different scales, documenting your goals has been a lifesaver for me. Also documenting my child as he grows up. Documenting my wife and I's marriage. And again, you don't have to make a YouTube channel, guys. You can make it private. Get your phone out. These are the best cameras ever. Get your phone out and document life, because it's so fast. And it happens like that. And before you know it, you can look back on 2017 when you started your goals, and now it's 2025, and realize how far that you've come and the successes you've had, but also the failures that you've learned from. And without writing them down, you're just going to follow that rut and you're going to throw them to the side. I can't reiterate it enough. Document your goals. Document your life. So 2024, guys, we've had a shitty start. I can't say it any other way. We've had the worst start to a year ever. And hopefully, right, I can look back at 2025, 2026 and realize, like, man, maybe those things that happened to me in 2024 were setting me up for something else. I just don't know what those are yet. I don't know what God has in store for me right now. I don't. And this is hard for me, guys. It's really, really hard for me to be comfortable in the unknown. and be comfortable not knowing what's going on. But hopefully we can look back at 2025, 2026, 2030 and see like, hey, this was setting me up for X, Y, and Z. And so before we get into kind of what has happened in 2024, so that you guys can crush your 2024, I had a video that I came across, and I believe that God puts everything in my life for me, and what I need at that time and what he needs for me, right? And before I get into what's happened in 2024, just know that it was a very hard time. It's a big struggle. And it was the hardest week of my life, a lot of tears, a lot of anger. And I got a notification. I subscribed to Alex Hormozi. And people are like, well, you subscribed to Alex Hormozi. God didn't give that to you. No, God gave me the knowledge. God gave me every bit of everything that I am and attracted me to Alex Hormozi and provided me the opportunity to subscribe to him. So yes, God did give me that. And for some odd reason, I have subscribed to Alex Hormozi for 3 years. I'm coming up on my third year with the Hormozi crew. And I'd never got notifications. I never got notifications of when he would post videos. And so I would just, when I go on the assault bike, I watch YouTube videos, and I was going to go and watch one of his. Well, I was at the house, and I just got the bad news that started my 2024, and my YouTube app needed to update. And I never update my apps, ever. There's a list of 40, and I never did it. Well, I just knew that I needed to update it, so I went into the App Store and I updated it. Well, when I updated YouTube, I started getting notifications for Alex Hormozi that I had supposed to be getting for a very long time because I hadn't updated my app in years. Well, when I updated it, I started getting those notifications. And at that time, I was going through what started out to be the worst start of the year for me ever. And it popped up, and it said, maybe your problems aren't that big, or something to that effect. And he talked about it, and in life, it may not be that important in 3 months. So he was telling this story of these problems that that are deteriorating us from the inside out, these problems that are taking all of our energy, these problems that we're running into all the time, that are like consuming our life as it is right now in our current reality, may not matter in 3 months. And I sat back and thought about it with the things that I was going through at this moment. And I tried to just sit there, and I was actually driving, and I just thought about it. And I said, in 3 months, is this going to matter? In 3 months, is this going to be taking the energy, mental energy, physical energy that I have in 3 months? Is this going to be a big deal? And I looked back at it, and I could actually answer no. This isn't going to be a big deal in 3 months. So this really puts our problems into perspective. It puts these things into perspective so that we can move on, so that we can go on with our lives and find the next opportunity, prepare for the next opportunity. And so that was something really cool that God put on my heart, put right in front of me, and said, hey, I know you're going through the ringer right now, but in 3 months, it'll all be okay. And it's going to set us up for something, right? It's going to set us up for something. So, let's get into why 2024 has been such a shitty start, guys. And this is the really cool thing. I'm telling you guys to document your goals and see your successes and all your failures and all this hunky-dory shit, right? But just because you're documenting your goals, just because you have the best intentions, just because you have the best New Year's resolution, does not mean that life isn't going to kick you in the balls no matter what. It's still going to take you out, but you have this grounded feeling, this grounded thing that you can turn back to at all times, right? So 2024 was a rough start, man. A very, very rough start. A long story short, I'll talk about the thing that really has been on our plate. My son has he's the happiest child in the world. And I would beg to differ if anybody said there's a happier child. And I'm being honest. I've been around a lot of children, and he's the trap baby. He's the one that's happy 99% of the time. Does he not sleep well? Yes. Does he not like getting his pajamas on? Yes. Those are the only times that he is not happy, and he's happy all the time. And Well, we've been dealing with an issue. When I was 1 year old, I had what's called a fistula, and my son has had a fistula. And months prior, probably 5 months ago now, he had his first operation. And long story short, I will not bring names into this or doctors' names into this. The doctor we went to did an incorrect procedure. This doctor was not a pediatric surgeon. This doctor was an adult surgeon, just a general surgeon, and he did the wrong procedure. So my son had to go under anesthesia at 1 year old. He had to have this surgery. He was throwing up, just a complete mess, and had to go through all that, go through all the pain of having what would be at least a 1/2 inch deep or 3/4 inch deep hole drilled into the tissue of his butt. And long story short, it was the incorrect surgery. And so the surgery was set up for failure from the start. And so the issue, the fistula that he had, came back. And we as parents thought like, hell, this is just supposed to go away. This is what was supposed to happen, right? Well, the doctor did the wrong surgery. And to say that I'm angry and upset is an understatement. Sometimes a lawless world would be much better so you can just take care of your problems. But long story short, this came up and really hit us in the face as we transitioned from early December 2023 into January 2024. And we found out that my son was going to have another surgery, an extensive surgery. And the most helpless feeling in the world is seeing your children go through something that you can't help them with, and to see their helplessness on their face, to see agonizing pain, to see these things that you can't fix. And to have to do that again was something that I did not enjoy, and I did not want my wife to have to go through. And it's something that you don't like doing. There's risk attached to everything, and it's not something that we truly enjoy. And so to have to go through that again was something that we did not want to do in 2024. But you have to do what you have to do. And so with that, we got his surgery just a couple days ago, early 2024, and hopefully now it's a thing of the past, and we never have to worry about it again. But that was one of the big things that hit on our plate that we were having to do right away. And prior to getting this surgery, when the surgeon did the wrong procedure, my son was having residual effects of that, getting low-grade fevers, getting sick every single day. He was sick for every single day, not one missing day out of 5 months. And what does that do? It takes a toll on my wife because she has to wake up and breastfeed 3 to 5 times a night. And where we're at with our financial situation, she still has to work. And so as somebody that's trying to provide and do these things, it's hard to see. And when all that was on top of our plate, the dagger, the thing that just put it in the coffin for us for the start of 2024 was our rental properties. And so this last Friday in early January, I get a call, and this is the dagger in the coffin for 2024, people. And this is why writing down your goals, doing these things can really, really help you in the long run. And I'm just going to be open and honest with everything. But I got a call early Friday saying that the heat at my rental property was not heating well. And this rental property has brand new everything, brand new hot water heater, brand new heating system, brand new everything. And it is top of the line. This is your instant hot water heaters, your instant boilers. It is top of the line, digital display, everything. It's very, very nice. And I opted for these things not to happen. In long story short, again, no names or anything, but at this rental property that we purchased this last year, the individuals left to go home to visit family for 4 weeks. And it just happened to coincide with the coldest days in history of North Dakota since 2001. We hit negative 71 degrees. You heard that right, negative 71. And these individuals, I won't say where they're from, but these individuals are from a very, very hot place. And so dealing with these cold temperatures they've never had to deal with before. And so they left for 4 weeks to this destination to see their family. And in those 4 weeks, they shut off the heat. If you live in North Dakota, Minnesota, Wyoming, Montana, South Dakota, turning off your heat in the middle of winter sounds like the most asinine thing that you could ever think of, right? Well, they didn't know any better and they shut off their heat. And the only thing that saved me is that this property is a duplex and this property has another person living on the other side on the same water unit. So that person using the water was able to keep this side from completely freezing solid. Well, that was Friday. Saturday, I get a call from the same person saying, hey, we have zero hot water. All we have is cold water out of our tap. Zero hot water. Oh, and at the same time, my son's surgery had got rescheduled because he got the flu, stomach flu, throwing up everywhere. So like just things just pile on, right? Just pile on. Like when it rains, it pours. Let's just kick Colby and put him in the ground. And just all these things started piling on. And at this point, I'm fine. I'm maintaining. Well, I go over there, and what had happened is the room where all the plumbing is exposed and all the plumbing is, they left that door wide open on the days that we hit negative 70, negative 55, and negative 56. So the plumbing physically froze solid with running water, froze solid because the door was left open. That's the sound that I made when we got there because this was a totally something that could have definitely been avoided. And so we get there, long story short, I'm trying to get it running. I'm trying to get it heated. You can turn up the heat of the hot water, and I'm trying to get it going, and you don't know where the freeze is because it's all copper pipe. And starting to get it up, and it's at 75 degrees, this water. The highest that it can go is 75 degrees. Usually it's set at 125 to 128. And I just couldn't get it up. And then we started getting it up. I turned on the space heaters, got them in the attic, got them in the crawl space, and got it going. It starts climbing up to like 80, 85, 90. And then it starts dropping again. And I'm trying to get it going. We can't get this hot water going. And then I'm in there just waiting, just saying a prayer, just trying to get it going. And I turn around and I hear water just shooting like a freaking fire hydrant. And I turn around, and in 4 separate spots simultaneously, 2 pipes blew apart, 2 pipes cracked at the same time, just completely burst. This copper pipe just completely burst. So I'm scrambling, and I go over and I shut the main water off. And long story short, we had 4 total breaks. $700 later, we got it fixed. And yeah, we got that fixed. Well, to add insult to injury, that was Saturday. This is the next one that really put my 2024 over the edge. I was worried about my other property in the South Dakota Black Hills. And so I sent a friend over there. And this house is very old, unlike this duplex. It's brand new, very old. And we had frozen water pipe issues last year. Well, just 2 weeks ago, I got a new heater installed. And I thought this heater was going to alleviate the situation of having broken pipes again. Well, I was wrong. So Friday, my kid's supposed to have surgery, gets rescheduled because he's throwing up with an issue that's very, very serious, and it's scary as a father. On the same day, Friday, I get a call saying the heat's not working at the property. We go fix that. Saturday, the same unit. We don't have any hot water. The pipes burst. There's water damage X, Y, and Z. And then Sunday, my friend goes over there and he sends me a picture, and I pull it up on here, but he sends me a picture, and the picture is of a massive iceberg in my toilet. So it got so cold in that property that the toilet froze, the toilet cracked. It got so cold in that property that we had 7 breaks. It got so cold in that property that we had to tear down 2 walls. It got so cold in that property that my head exploded. It got so cold that the heater was running consistently at 70 degrees. And when they walked in on the thermostat, it was 41 degrees in the house. Everything frozen solid. Completely destroyed. So that was that dagger, guys. Everything had just been piling on top, and it was that dagger that just put me out of my misery. And it was the hardest week of my life. Hands down, there's no even a second place. The most tears, the most anger, the most, it just upsets me. And, it was the hardest start of 2024 of any year. And, but it's setting us up for something. And it's setting us up for something. We had to get it fixed anyways, right? We had to do these things. And we found out that the property in South Dakota, the outside bathroom wall had zero insulation in it. Zero insulation in it. It's an outside wall, for God's sakes. So this heater was trying to work for its life. And as hard as it worked, it just it couldn't do it. So long story short, that's how my 2024 started. Being a helpless father, not being able to help your child, having almost $10,000 worth of damage to 2 different properties. Holy moly, dude. It was a rough 2024 start. But instead of looking at it as, poor me, we can look at it, how do we prepare to never have this happen again? How do we learn? How do we do the things that we never have to worry about this again? And I wouldn't have this happen if I didn't document my life, if I didn't document my goals, if I didn't document these things. And so I know that in my current reality, because I don't subscribe to life should be this even kill, boring thing. It should be a freaking roller coaster with a jet engine, maybe a bolt loose here or there, and you should just be flying through this life, going up, going down, corkscrewing, doing all these things instead of just this monotony. And I know that, and I don't subscribe to this life of monotony, stuck in a rut. And so when I know when challenges come up and shit hits the fan, that 1, there's a lesson to be learned that God is trying to throw at me, and 2, it's setting me up for something else that I have no idea what it is. If you can subscribe to that, when shit hits the fan, it ain't diarrhea. When shit hits the fan, it's just very minimal, because we know that there's a lesson to be learned in this situation. There's a lesson to be learned. And this is a massive, massive financial hit, bigger than anything I've ever had. Yet there's something that's going to set us up for a lesson, and something that's going to set us up for this peak, right? And on a off topic, prior to all this happening, I was at a peak. We have an announcement that when this podcast goes out, it will be announced at that point. But I can't say it right now because I don't know for sure if this is going to be live to the world when I drop this podcast. But we have an announcement that's just crazy, absolutely crazy. So I was at a peak, and we got that news, and everything's cool, and we're starting to prepare, and then boom. Kid's surgery, kid's second surgery. The surgeon did the wrong procedure. Pipes burst at one property one day, pipes break at the another one the next day. Kick Colby Wise down and just beat his ass. But guess what? I was at this peak, and I knew something was coming. And then I was at this valley, and I know something great is coming, right? You just have to look at life like that, and it becomes much, much, much easier. So the keys for you to crush your 2024 is to know that shit is going to hit the fan. Know that there's going to be amazing highs and absolutely desperate lows. And if you can really look at it like that and understand it for what it is, you know that you're just going through this life with a freaking roller coaster that doesn't have a seatbelt, a few missing screws, and you're just corkscrewing through life. But if you keep on doing the things you need to do to prepare to get lucky, your 2024 is going to be the best year yet. That's why I started this out with 2024 could be your year. You could be a new you. I got new goals. It's a new me, new year, new me. Only if you do your shit. Only if you prepare. Only if you write down your goals. Only if you expose yourself to risk. Only if you become vulnerable will 2024 be your year. But I'm telling you right now, guys, If you can understand that life is this ever-changing roller coaster, number one, you will crush your 2024. If you can understand that documenting your life and documenting your goals and seeing how your reality has changed, you will crush your 2024. And number three, just rolling with the punches. And number four, being comfortable in the unknown. When you don't know what's going on in life, when you don't know why you're at such a high, when you don't know why you can't get yourself out of this hole, just understand that we need to be comfortable in the unknown. And I say this and I put this on the agenda to talk about today because I need to do it. I need to be better at it. I need to take my own advice. So number one, document your life. Write your goals down. This will ensure that you have your best chance of preparing to have the best 2024, to crush your shit. Okay? And I think if you can take that advice, you're going to be much, much better off. Number two, figuring out that life is just this ever-changing roller coaster. And we just need to know that when something is great, there's something around the corner. And when something's bad, there's also something around the corner. When life gives you that, you can know that you're getting set up for something great. And if you're at the top, you know that something could be coming that is going to knock me down. That is life. Number three, rolling with those punches coincides with that, guys. When things are great, we have to roll with the punches. We have to take advantage. We have to prepare and be lucky and put ourselves in opportunities that allow us to grow, okay? But when things are really bad, we have to not wish this time away. We have to learn the lesson that's being presented in front of us. My lesson with everything that's been going on, number one, always get a second opinion with doctors. Number two, don't ever have a private inspection done by the seller of the property, right? This is something I would have never learned if I didn't have this issue, because they said, hey, insulation up to par. It's good. Everything's good. The whole outside part of the house didn't have insulation in it. How was it good? But I wouldn't have learned that if I wouldn't have taken the step. And I wouldn't have learned that lesson if I wished this time away and just said, oh, I'm going to hire somebody to go fix that. I don't want to deal with it. It's too stressful. I need to pop this pill so I don't have to feel this stress. I wouldn't have learned that lesson. So roll with the punches. And lastly, being comfortable in the unknown. This last week with the second surgery, the pipes breaking, the heat quitting, the pipes breaking again, I could have definitely broke down, and I did. But after that oh shit response, that fight or flight response that I was in, I had to get to the point where it's like, all right, shit has already hit the fan. Now I'm in mediation mode. Now I need to move. Now I need to act. Now I need to do the things so that this never happens again. Instead, I could just panic and sit and pop my pill and make sure that everything is just even kill. But it's going to come back to bite you, number one. And number two, you're not going to learn the lesson that you needed to learn at that time. So do these things, guys. Write down your goals right now. Pause this podcast, write down your goals so you can crush your 2024. Number two, realize life is a ever-changing roller coaster. Number three, roll with the punches. And number four, be comfortable in the unknown. If you do those four things, you will crush your 2024. But if you continue to do the same things that got you to the end of 2023 when you were desperate and you didn't like the ending you had, fast forward to January 2025 and you're going to be unhappy and desperate and not happy with where it ended. I'm going to leave you guys with this. If you guys haven't wrote down your goals after this, I don't know what else to say. Okay? It's such a bigger process than just physically writing them down. And do it with your partner. Do it so that you guys can have something as you go forward. But I'm going to leave you with this. If you guys were unhappy with your entire year of 2023, or if you were unhappy where you ended, if you weren't making enough money, if you weren't in the best family situation, if you weren't happy with work, if you weren't happy with your relationship with God, if you weren't happy with these things at the end of 2023, you will end up in the same exact place at the end of 2024 if you do not take the action. We can only get lucky so often, and the lucky people are prepared people. They've done the work to put them in the place with the opportunity to become lucky. So if you are unhappy at the end of 2023, that should light a fire under your ass. And you should understand that if I do the same thing, I'm going to get the same result. So if you're unhappy, we have to change. Change very small, incremental changes. And that first change is writing down that goals, okay? If you're unhappy in 2023, more than likely, if you do not change, you're going to be unhappy at the end of 2024 and 2025 and 2050. And then you're going to wake up one day and you're going to regret everything. And the heaviest weight in this world is regret. Have you ever seen two old men, one who lived out their life, who took risks, who failed, who succeeded, and they're sitting on the porch drinking a little shot of champagne, and they're happy, and they can reflect on their memories. And then the other individual that's sitting right next to him is the individual that had a ton of regrets, didn't take risks, didn't do things that made him uncomfortable. And he looks back at life with resentment. And he looks back at life with a very terrible lens on everything that got him to that point. He regrets. And you guys know that the heaviest weight in this world is regret. Which old man do you want to be? Do you want to have a little bit of risk, be uncomfortable here, but have this ever-changing, beautiful life at the end of your life where you know that you did everything that you wanted to do, you took the chances, and it put you to the spot where you're at now where you have zero regrets? Or do you want to be the person that lives with the heaviest weight possible in this world, this heavy regret of not doing the things that they wanted to do? Do your shit, and 2024 will be your year, I promise. If you guys need help, reach out. I'm a very open book with everything that we do. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode 122, Next Level Radio. Peace.